Hi guys, we're back. Welcome back to Two Poly Chicks. It's Cindy and Tiffany. How you doing, Tiff?
Good. Tired. Good. I'm in my pajamas. So I'm trying to not show what I have on today.
You in your pajamas?
Pajamas. I have on. So, but I'm
all right,
good.
guys. We're on a different taping time today, so we're a little more tired because it's the evening. Because we had to do a retaping. But anyway, today we're going to talk about the legislative branch. But we just want to really talk about the newest laws that have come out that affect our everyday life. By now, we've already passed the safe harbor date with the election. So now we know the legislative branch is going to meet up next week, the 14th, December 14th. And by that date, we should have the official voting for the president and all this drama will end. So, Tip, you have good news for some of us, right?
For some of us, for our weed smokers.
For all our peeps.
I'm not I partake, so I don't know, I'm not as excited as some may be, but well, actually, yeah, the MORE Act has been passed. So the MORE Act is the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act. And I'm going to read directly off my paper because I always get this word wrong. It's going to decriminalize marijuana. So it removes it from the controlled substance list. It kind of like, you can't, if you get caught with it, you can't be charged federally. And so, with weed, I mean, a lot of people, like you've said, feel that it's a gateway drug, but it really is something that helps people with their anxiety. It helps with, and then some people just love to be mellow. And I'm just thinking, of the people I know that smoke it. I mean, I was talking about this a long time ago. Legalize it. Time to recognize it. Weed, I know people that smoke weed forever, and that's just their drug of choice. And there's a lot of benefits to it. But I want to just say with this act that's being passed, the MORE Act, the Marijuana Opportunity and Reinvestment and Expungement Act, I'll be remiss if I didn't say that the war on drugs was a big part of it, and the crime bill that Joe Biden, the current president-elect, had a hand in making, that did affect a lot of brown and Black people. So that's something that, people always, tout and indicate. But with this act, which it passed the House and now it's going to the Senate, it's a federal mandate. So it's going to the Senate and hopefully they pick it up and vote on it and then it becomes a law. But we know with Mitch McConnell, he's the crypt keeper, the gatekeeper, and they say that's where the bills go to die. So who knows how long it'll sit on his desk. And, well, actually, I should have gone to so who knows how long it'll sit on his desk. But I mean, like I said, Sean Paul, legalize it. Come on.
But the thing is, Tiff, two things. Like you said, I do believe that it is a gateway drug. But I also believe cigarettes can be, it's not a drug, but cigarettes can be a gateway too, because you start with cigarettes, then you do marijuana, and next thing you know, you're doing coke and all these other things. So I do believe that, but I also believe that a lot of people are in jail or have records based on that. And it does, I've seen people completely change and become very mellow once they get that in them. And I'm like, you're different because I don't smoke either. So yes. But what I really wanted to talk about, which I thought it was interesting when you brought that up about Joe Biden signing off on that. And a lot of Black guys, a lot of Black men that I know say, I don't vote for him. You know what he did with the crime bill and this and that. But when we talk later on about how the legislative body works, you will understand how it's possible to sign a bill without maybe necessarily realizing everything that went in the bill, because they do a lot of politicking. And if you sign off on this, I'll get that. And if, just like right now with the stimulus bill, we're not getting our money in our stimulus because they blame it on Nancy Pelosi, but it's a lot of politicking played. Like, you got to sign off on this because you need votes. So they don't just wake up and sign on.
You add certain things and you subtract certain
Yes.
things. So
Mhm.
I mean, but think about all the things that were illegal before. I mean, alcohol. Can you imagine a martini, a Long Island iced tea being illegal? Alcohol was illegal.
Right.
They found ways to sell it. It's
Right.
not like
bootleg.
yeah,
Bootleg.
and I hope they're not still in prison. So bootleg.
No.
Just like I want those marijuana Mary Jane offenders to be expunged as part of the act. So
the bootlegging act, the prohibition, they realized it became too expensive to uphold it, because just like with marijuana, you need cops to enforce it. And how it happened, wives were really complaining, my husband's not home. So they were at the bar, so wives were complaining, so they made that law, and they eventually got rid of that because it became hard to enforce. So, but I do believe.
I was going to say right now with the marijuana, they are imposing with that bill, they're imposing a 5% tax. And like Cindy said, it may be 5% now, but they may increase it. They may change it. They may do certain things to it to where it's a high. But
they did that with cigarettes too. They made a tax on cigarettes. So
especially in New York, you know how expensive cigarettes are in New York.
It's like, come on, you got to quit at that point.
Yeah. So, but and that's one of the things with the MORE Act. I mean, the expungement of the records of any prior convictions, and not having so many Black and brown and other persuasion, other race people in jail just behind a minor drug offense, behind marijuana, especially since we have everywhere I turn there's cannabis dispensaries. So come on, it's a money making industry. So
it's in you can get it apparently in a lot of products.
It came out of nowhere.
Guys, I'm so sorry. She always telling me I'm screaming. I'm a New York Black girl. I scream. Okay.
Okay, go ahead. What were you saying?
Not okay. In my inside voice. I think I should have my hair. Maybe I should have my hearing checked. But it's everywhere now. It's in a lot of like food products and stuff, edibles they call it. So you might as well just maybe make it legal. I don't know. I don't even know, because I'm not a smoker.
Let the people that have those offenses clear their record and get out of prison. That's the
part. That's the part. The clearing your record.
Yes. Yeah, so let's follow that MORE Act, MORE, the marijuana, Mary Jane, marijuana opportunity reinvestment and expungement act. So follow that act. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to segue into, because remember with drugs, we always say, well, I always feel that when you have an addiction or an issue with a substance abuse, you should be receiving help, not harm. You should be receiving assistance to get over that addiction. If it's an affliction to where you can't like function throughout the day. And I know another big thing was George Floyd when he had gotten
arrested,
stopped. Remember, he was on drugs. He was a drug addict. He was also he had prior criminal history. But one of the biggest things is that they were saying, oh, he was on drugs, he was this, and he should have received the help that he needed because of the addiction that he had. So one of the things that is, I think it passed the House.
It's in the House,
House, but for some reason it sits in the Senate with that crypt keeper. But the Justice and Policing Act has passed the House in June, I believe it was. And what it does with the policing, it's also called interchangeably the George Floyd Act. What it does is it changes the conviction. I can't think of the word for it, but it changes it from willing to knowing. So
willful versus knowing, and reckless.
Yes. It's a big difference, because you can it's hard to prove willfulness, right? So you can say, well, if I was there, if you were there at the crime and you knew that this was taking place, so you should did something. So
because if you're sitting on someone's neck, I think it should make sense that you're gonna kill them. But it was very hard. It's very
harm.
But it's when you have even now with I forgot who it is. It's him. It's George Floyd. When they up this case, second degree versus third degree, some things are harder to prove.
Yeah.
So with policing, qualified immunity, it's very hard to prove that you willfully murdered someone.
Yeah.
So now that it's reduced to knowing, I think it's better, because now it'll be easier for them to be held accountable for the things they do.
Yeah, and part of that was the limit. You kind of touched on it. The limits on the protections from civil actions being taken, or from certain criminal. Because to me, when I think about if I did something incorrect on my job, or on your job, or anyone's job, most people are held to account for something that they do wrong or mistake. Chris Rock said something in one of the comedies. I can't. It's the end of the night, y'all. Something in one of the comedy sketches that he said certain positions you should not have an oops moment, like a pilot. If he said, I mean, how many times would you fly if the pilot was like,
can you imagine?
No, I can't.
Can you imagine? Even
No.
like in a surgery, a doctor can't just, oops, I just cut out your spleen instead of going in to get, I'm coming in for a tooth problem, and you just, oops, you just cut out, that stuff just sounds crazy. Even as a teacher, when I was a teacher, it was so easy for you to get in trouble for saying something, or for maybe grabbing a kid, you're breaking up a fight, you grab them, you hurt them. It's so easy to get in trouble in those arenas. But then a cop who has your life in his hands every single day, he could just kill you basically, and your family has no kind of way to sue or anything.
No recourse.
Nope.
And if there is recourse, it's very hard to prove, or very hard to get any type of justice from it. So that's when people are angry about the police and the shooting and the killing of anyone. It's not that we're against the police officers. We want justice for that life that was lost. That's the main thing, is justice for the life that was lost. Nothing against the police, but it's justice for the life that was lost. And part of the Justice and Policing Act, it creates a national registry for misconduct. So I can't believe. Just think about you as a teacher, or as a real estate broker, or anything. Can you just go to another state knowing that you've cheated?
No. As a teacher, you're pretty much blackballed.
Yeah. So
why
should there be a national registry for misconduct, so that you can continue this act in a different county or a different state? And the other thing is training and body cam. So you want to provide the training for them to have more, I guess, sensitivity to the people that they're serving. Remember, the whole thing is protect and to serve. So you should be able to understand the people that you're protecting and serving as well. So,
well, you and I have talked about that before, that the original intent of the police was not to protect and serve brown folk. The original intent of the police was to enforce slavery or runaways. And then it went on to Jim Crow. And that's why you see a lot of the MAGA stuff happening with show me your identification, and are you supposed to be in this swimming pool? Can you be in this restaurant? Who told you whatever? Do you live in this building? You in this park walking your dog? And I mean, literally, these are all current cases within the last few years of people, usually Black men, in the gym, just everywhere. And I remember that family was in the swimming pool.
In their homes?
In
their homes, or
in your home. And your very own, that guy that got killed right here sitting on his couch. So when they say make America great, that might be where they're talking about taking it back to, which is at the time when brown folks had to present ID. So that's really the intent of the police department. But I'm very glad to hear that the House of Representatives is recognizing that. But again, when you know and understand the legislative branch, you can see Mitch McConnell's at the top of the line, and he gets to decide what gets voted on, when it gets voted. He gets to decide a lot. And so I don't know how long that's going to sit in the Senate.
If it ever just gets off the desk, it may just sit there.
Right. It might die. And then it could get vetoed. So I know right now, Tiffany, you realize you finished?
No, I was gonna say, one of the things that was talked about was the slogan, defund the police. And I hate that slogan. I don't know anyone that does like that. Well, I don't know anyone that likes that slogan. And to me, that you have to have a better pitch if you're gonna try to sell to the masses. You can't just say defund, denounce, anything, because it's a negative connotation. So
guys, I'm laughing because me and her got into a big
I mean,
Yeah, I got into a big issue over that one.
Matter. So
I'm like, listen, okay, so what slogan is not gonna offend somebody? So who cares? Black Lives Matter, they calling them Antifa, they calling them anarchists, they calling them whatever's now. MAGA people are the only ones that really have embraced this ridiculous slogan of make America great, because America has never really been great for anybody but the white male. So even white women, black men, Asian, Native American, there's none of them that can say, oh yeah, that was a great time in our history, you know. So when we think about MAGA, but they just wear hats, slogan, no drama attached to it or nothing, but we still, I understand.
But they also have a common feel of, okay, this is exactly, we want America to
we
be
want this. But that's why I understood, but I understood defund. I mean, maybe that's not the greatest word, because it sounds like when you say, yeah, when you say,
I'm sorry, because if you say D,
she hype.
D anything, when you say D, that means take away the root, the what is it, the prefix
The
of
root
the word,
is
to take away something. And when you hear take away, most people get discouraged. Even discouraged.
But I understood it. When I understood it as not defund in the sense of taking away. They meant to redirect funding. Because when I first heard it, I was seeing, you know, New York had big protests, and I was seeing a lot. She can't even hold herself back.
They should have said that.
And then she gonna tell us we overtime. Then she gonna tell us we overtime.
I'm sorry, but you're changing the slogan. If you have to explain the slogan, it's a fail right there. But go ahead. I'm gonna let you.
Anywho, I'm covering her mouth right now, guys. Let me cover her mouth. Anywho, so I understood. I'm gonna go whisper because she said I'm yelling. And I understood the defund the police thing. Then you had the people come out saying defend the police. When you get caught up in whether a slogan makes sense, you're never gonna get to the bottom line of the. Look at her mouth. She ain't even listening.
I'm listening.
You're gonna understand. Look at her face. Her face is tight.
Looking at the camera to you.
Look at her. Look at her face all tight. She like this. I won. So I understood. At first I didn't. I was like, what do you mean defund? You mean we're not gonna have police officers? I mean, we already trying to, every day I go outside and hope they didn't break in my car. So I don't know what you mean. So I understood that that's an issue, the wording. But I hate the fact that because when Obama said it, it became very, very cantankerous. Everybody started getting mad and all of that when he said that's a bad idea. But it'll become this, defund. What do you mean defund? Black Lives Matter. What do you mean this? All lives matter. This, that, it'll be this, and then we'll all lose the point, which is that police have overstepped over and over and over again their authority, and they are killing minorities. She's so gone. She's so tuned out.
I'm listening. I'm giving you.
I'm gonna kill her. I'm gonna literally
explain the slogan, because you don't have to explain happy birthday. You don't have to say breast cancer awareness. You don't have to explain all of these things when it comes to certain slogans. And that one just doesn't.
Tess, if you say,
I'll tell you, the only person that did not say defund the police was Joe Biden. One of the only, I'll say.
That's true. That's true.
Because people do not want to see, or they don't understand the defund. And if we don't understand that word, then we need better wording.
I understand what you're saying, but I got the idea of what they're saying. And I hate the fact that their ideas got lost in a word. That's how politics is played. It's like, oh, what do you mean all lives matter? Black lives matter. What do you mean? And then next thing you know, and yet people are still dying on the street. And so if I say I like white, some little negative Nancy, you don't like black? I like pie. Well, what about cake? I like cars. Well, what about both?
You're
well,
gonna have detractors, but if you're trying if you're trying to reach the masses and you're trying to get everybody on board with your thing, most people when they go to a store, if it's a catchy thing or something that catches your eye, you're gonna go in there. You're not gonna go to a store that's like a sad whatever. So you don't put that's why you don't see like dreary things in the windows in the store. You have to have something that's like, ooh, let me go in there and see what that's about. Is gonna
let me let me explain. If you watch this video and you see me sitting here laughing, why am I laughing? Because we had a set time, right? But we get to this issue right here.
Okay.
This video is gonna be 4 hours. This video is gonna be 4 hours because of this one right here.
But that's all I'm saying is words matter. Not to take away from the effects or the reason behind it, because we all want better policing, all of us, yes. Especially Black people. We need better policing. We want better policing, but we also want allies that can get on board and understand what we're asking for. When you use a word that can divide people, see D again, D, even though it's a DI instead of a DE, divide people, you need a better word or a better slogan. We can't get past that. You won't get in the door of a store that has a bad name because you're not gonna go in. Bottom line. That's all I wanted to say. But okay, so moving on.
Hey guys, let me tell you something. When I get ready to describe how the legislative work, it's gonna be like,
Go ahead. I'm gonna keep my game face on. So let's move on to the Crown Act, because that was another.
Now look, I didn't get to respond to what she said. No, because I mean I don't disagree that some you have to have consensus, especially when you're talking about getting people to sign on. Like, it's okay to have a slogan if you don't give a crap whether people believe it or not. That's it. But when you work in legislative, which is what this video really is, when you're talking legislative, you do need buy-in. So Joe Biden is the one that matters right now, because apparently, even though he's not acknowledged as being president, he will be, and he's not looking to defund, neither am I. I think they do need social reform. I think they are called into places they should not be called, for disabled people and for domestic disputes and things like that. And it gets out of hand. And a lot of the times when they wind up killing somebody, it was because they should not have been called in the first place. A social worker should have been called in. But we can segue from that.
You can end on an agreement. And yes. I agree with that 100%.
So apparently we now can wear our hair natural. Yes. And I was reading a hashtag on Twitter this was like this week. This a white doctor had put up that she was mentoring or something. I could get the story wrong, but she has something to do with Black doctors and them getting interviews looking for jobs. They were residents and they were looking for jobs. And a legitimate question, not legitimate, but a question that she saw being asked was, "Is that your real hair?" And she was like, she couldn't believe it. And I was like, that's our whole life. Like, you know, me and you were talking about that, how we worked in the same agency at one point. And there was this white guy that used to ask me about my hair all the time. And after a while, it becomes less educational and it becomes annoying every time. Now, you see, guys, my hair, you know, I need to go. We in COVID lockdown, so I can't get it colored the way I really want to. But my hair was down to my back at one point, and then I cut it off. Okay, so I can understand you like, oh, wow, you cut your hair. But when my hair was short and I came in with my hair and it looks like Tiffany's hair, and you say, did you grow your hair? Look at her, she's gorgeous, y'all. You know, she's gorgeous. She dropping it, right? Now we are still human. Black people are still human, right? It's impossible for your hair to grow that long in a day from this to this. So me and her disagree kind of on that one too, but I thought he was annoying. And I started getting fresh with him and saying, I'm a chia pet. You could just put water on me at night and then my hair will just grow out, and then I cut it down when I feel like it and just put water back on it again. So go ahead, Tiff.
I was going to say the reason we disagreed on it is because, well, first let me say what the act is, and it's in 7 states now. So this is a local, not a federal act. It's a local act, but you can always go to the Crown Act. I think it's the Crown Act or crownact.com. It's actually sponsored by Dove, I think Dove, you know, the skincare
company.
Company. It's called Creating a Respectful Open World for Natural Hair. Creating a Respectful Open World for Natural Hair, the Crown Act. And basically what it does is it ends hair discrimination. It's an extension of the fair housing and employment protection. So they want people to be protected when they're wearing their braids, their locks, their afros. not saying that we're going to come into the workplace with, let's say, the fish bowls in our hair from the hair show, like we just
purple hair, yeah.
Not those protections, but your actual natural hair. The Miss Universe, the current Miss Universe, had her natural hair, and Trevor Noah asked, or someone asked, why, how bold is it that you wore your natural hair? And she's like,
courageous.
How is this bold that I'm wearing my own hair? Like, this is me. And
guys,
it's those things where it's like, our hair is always fascinating. And that's what I told Cindy about the guy at work. Like, we want to integrate.
That's annoying.
I know it may be annoying, but we want them to learn and understand who we are and how we are. And sometimes it's fascinating. Like I said, I think my hair is
sometimes it's selective ignorance. Sometimes it's condescending and it's ignorance. Like, you can't be kidding me. You think you could cut your beard off and on Saturday or on Sunday or Monday it's going to be down here, you're going to have a goatee again?
Well,
you're ridiculous.
He may be fascinated with you.
I'm still a human. I'm still a person. It's impossible biologically for you to grow your hair overnight like a chia pet.
Yeah, but like I said, you want them. I engage. I engage with anyone.
Yeah, she talks to anybody.
I'll engage with anyone and talk about anything. So
you frozen, Tip. She's frozen. So maybe I should hog the conversation while she's frozen. So a little bit about the act is that it's only right now in California, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, Colorado, and Washington. So it's not everywhere yet. The act is not active everywhere. It's not signed off in the House of Representatives by everywhere. I wonder if she's gonna be frozen for good. But it was to prevent discrimination, like she said, in employment and housing, and for people who are receiving federal funding. It cut her off, really cut her off. Let me pause this.
I don't even know where I left that.
Well, I started talking about, I just told them where it's active. It's active in California, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, Colorado, and Washington. You were saying that you want them to get to know us and whatever.
Right. If we're going to integrate with each other in society. Like, did you hear about the dermatologist, my dermatologist experience?
No.
Okay, no. So when I went to the dermatologist, it's a Caucasian woman. I went to her and I had to explain, because they do the scalp check. So I had to explain how to get in with the inside to see the scalp. Crochet. I'm not going to show you all the great, but I had to explain that. But that's a teachable moment. So the next time she has a black in her, and she gets the permission to, are these crochet? Mm-hmm. I know how to get to your scalp.
And I'm okay with that. That is like when I was a teacher, my 8th grade students. I'm okay with that. When I had 8th grade students, they will always ask me. They were mainly Asian. And I would be telling them about my hair, and I did it on purpose. Like, I would find different opportunities to talk about my hair. At that time, I used to wear twist outs. And so, you twist your hair, and then a few days later, you take it out, and it looks like that. But it was, it was a twist out. And I would let them, like, look at my hair and stuff. And I would be singing, like, pat your weave. It wasn't a weave, but I'd be like, pat your weave, ladies, And they learned, and I did it on purpose because I thought they're young enough that they can understand. And I think it was cool for them to be able to understand it.
Like I said, I think that person, I was about to say their name, that person was fascinated with your hair. So that's what I think. So, but your donuts are showing. I think those are bagels.
Yes, it's bagels. Because I make bagels.
So if you want to support the Crown Act, if you want to go ahead and like get to know more about any of it, the MORE Act, the Crown Act, the Justice and Police, and you can always Google it. Like I said, the Crown Act actually needs more assistance needs more to get federal following, because it's only in 7 states. So we do need to, get involved if you are interested in seeing that become national thing. So, but I know you had something regarding
look.
What?
No, look, and now she gonna say it's the history. It's not the history. It's just how the legend. Ooh, shade. Now, just very briefly for you to understand, if you want a law to be made, how Congress really works, very, very, very briefly, anybody can request that a law be made or can produce an idea for a law. And then it goes through all of the channels of Congress. And once it goes to the top, which is what we're talking about, whoever's at the top, which right now is Mitch McConnell, the bill goes to the president, and he has those three options. He could veto it, he could leave it on the desk and let it die, which is pretty much a veto. It's called a pocket veto, or he could just sign it into law. If he vetoes it, it goes back to Congress, and then Congress can override that veto, with I think 30 states right now out of 50, because you need like a 2/3 majority, like 60%.
I was gonna.
Wait, your ears are on.
There's so much going on in the house, right? It's the evening, so there's like so much going on.
They're like, mom.
But no, you need 2/3 of Congress. That's what it is. So
right.
What does that equal to? Like,
I think it's like 30 something states.
Okay.
So, because we have 538, so it's more than half. So 200, you probably need 300 senators to sign off on something. So that's pretty much
I'm doing the calculation. Wait, I'm doing the calculation.
So 66% of 538. What is that?
Wait, keep talking.
Oh,
wait,
I'm sorry.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Really
So you need just that, and once you get that majority, you can override. But people hardly ever. That's rarely done, because then you are ruining relationships with the president, and you're ruining relationships in Congress. So it's that whole idea of playing politics all the time. That's why I say, even though we do kind of fault Joe Biden for the crime bill, one hand, you can understand on the other hand that to play politics, you have to kind of go along with that majority, because you'll never get anything done. And so it's going to be interesting to see what he can legislatively get done once he becomes president, because he does not have the majority so far. And if they don't win those 2 Senate seats in Congress, she's frozen again, guys, I think. If you don't win those 2 seats in Congress, he will have no majority. And so he's really going to have to play politics. So anyway, guys, that's what we wanted to talk about today, just how
we are hot mess today. Sorry, I'm back.
Anyway,
that's why I don't like taping on because the way I'm just full transparency, the way my laptop, it's grainy, and then the internet is unstable when it's picking up. At least with my phone, I have the local. So I'm sorry to keep disappearing and reappearing.
It's fine. I just ended it with that. But I know we talked about something, and I said, if you could make a law, what law would you make? And that's the end of our video at that point.
Okay, well, what I wanted to do was tell you the number 355. So that's what you need for 2/3 of Congress.
So 355 senators.
Right. I don't know if it's 2/3 of Congress. I'm sorry, the senators, and 2/3 of the House, or
well, it has to go through both houses in order for it to pass. So why wouldn't it be? I don't know. I can't.
2/3 of each, or can you get to 2/3 total overall with the Senate?
I think it might be. I think it's 2/3 of Congress, which is everybody. But I could be wrong about it. We'll put it in below. If I'm wrong, we'll put it in below. But I would say 2/3 of everybody. Because even if you do each and each, it still comes out to be the same, right? Like it's 435 in the Senate and the Congress and 100 in the Senate.
Math is not my forte.
Yes, it is. Are you kidding me?
No, I'll ask Donnie. Donnie is a math whiz. Oh,
you used to be really good when we were in math class together. You used to be really good. Yeah. So what is your law? And then we'll close out with that.
Okay, so what was the question? I'm sorry.
Guys, this is a lot of unpaid work right here, right? What law would you make? If you could make a law right now, what law would you make?
Today? Well,
we got marijuana already, so you safe.
What I would do is just, if I could, I would push forward the Justice and Policing Act. Like I would wand that into law, because I have 2 young black boys. One is a man and one is a boy still. But I feel like they, that will protect that act could possibly protect
Save his
them.
life. Yeah.
And I do think it's important for us to have, reform within the police department and accountability within the police department, not defunding.
Absolutely. 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 And look, she gonna be telling me later about how long the video was.
Okay. So what's yours? What would you
like you, I have boys. I have 3. 2 are male, 2 are men, 2 are male. That's funny. 2 are men and 1 is a minor. But so confession is that I used to be addicted to paternity court. I like court shows in general. I love Judge Judy and that, but paternity court is like my show. But I would always get involved in the story, and the man is, his father wasn't around. He's trying to do right, so he signs the birth certificate, or if you say like some of my old aunts and stuff, birth certificate. He signed that thing, right? He signed the birth certificate, trying to be, step up to the plate, and then come to find out she was lying, and he wasn't the only, potential father. And Judge Lauren Lake, she's always like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And they're like, yeah, it was only him. It was only him. And next thing you know, it's like you have 50 men. And now he could have been one of 50. And so I was signed into law. You must get a paternity test. Boom.
I like that. As a mom of boys, men, black boys, I like that because I mean, my previous story, but you always want and it's important to know who the father is based on genetics for what other reason? Just to know the lineage of your.
He has to know who he came from. Your child should know where they came from, whether the father wants to be in his life or not. He should know. I mean, a father signing a birth certificate should be signing it because he wants to, and either he has doubt and he still chooses to do it, or because he's scientifically, it's already proven, not because you're manipulated and forced. And so I would hate to be that grandmother and I got attached to this child, and next thing you know, it's not the child. It's not his, it's not his child.
We'll talk about that because there was a paternity, I think paternity court where it was the grandmother who was so heartbroken. Her son had died.
Yes, exactly.
You may have saw that her son had died.
Exactly.
She was trying to figure out if this was her real grandson, and she was
exactly.
But like I said, to me, it's important because even with marriage, men that are married, if I got pregnant by, my boyfriend on the side or whatever, I don't have a boyfriend on the side just in case they.
Stuck it now.
I can't even have kids anymore as of my hysterectomy. It would be a miracle, but he would automatically be known as the father, and I don't think that's him to carry that burden. So I love that law. I actually love it.
And I've seen, what even made it worse? I've seen men go to jail for failing to pay child support and come on the show and find out the child wasn't even theirs. So
we always say that, your bill, the bill starts at it just starts as an idea. So that's something that you can present and see if you can move it up to become a law.
I've been thinking about it because I see the representative for our area. I see him all the time in the neighborhood. And so I might just say to him, he's a black male. I'm like, listen, it's so many guys that have so much, you can't do a lot of things if you have child support on the books. Your name is mud. And some companies might not even hire you because you owe child support. So, and if you sign the birth certificate and find out the child's not yours later, I think according to Judge Lake, she's like, a lot of states won't even let you change it. So that's not fair. That's just not fair. And I'm a woman's woman. I usually support women. But on that one, you lost me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, we could, or you could go ahead and push that up the chain. And I just wanted to summarize the legislative branch. I wrote down 4 things that they are responsible for doing, and that's at the federal level. It's pretty similar at the local level as well, but the legislative branch makes the laws, They regulate the laws. That's where the impeachment of the president came in. They regulated actions in breaking of those laws. They create the budget, and that's why we keep looking to them for the CARES Act and the COVID. And then they also have the power to declare war. So it's make the laws, regulate certain enforcement of the laws, create the budgets, and declare war. So
right.
Just to summarize what they do.
Just to summarize, and even now you see they're very active because they are responsible for declaring who's the president. So we now going to have the vote on December 14th, and on January 6th, they swear in the person, whoever they decide is going to be sworn in. So understanding the legislative, that is the first article in the Constitution. So it's obviously the one that they thought was the most important, is the laws that govern people. So yes. It's really interesting to watch. And like Tiffany said, I can probably go and push somebody to start a legislative matter that I think is important. You do need a congressperson to sponsor the bill, no matter where it came from. Congress has to take it to Congress, a person. So find out who your local leaders are. If you have an idea and if they think it's worth it, they will set up. And that sponsoring means looking at the budget, looking at who's responsible for it and all of that. And if you look at the George Floyd bill, you will see a lot of stuff in there about the social work issues, disability issues, data issues, enforcement. And that's how every bill looks. You can just look at any bill, but I think George Floyd would be a good bill to read because we all can relate to police brutality. And so despite whether we want to defund the police or defend the police and roll our eyes, that bill is very interesting to read. So Tiff, that's it?
Yeah. So all you guys can always email us at twopolychicks@gmail.com. Follow us on YouTube, Polychicks. We're on Facebook, Twitter. And my younger son, or my older son, actually set us up on a TikTok. So look out for our first TikTok.
Oh, December 17th is the end of the contest, guys. You gotta join in. You gotta be in it to win it. TikTok, TikTok. All right, bye guys.
Okay, have a good one.
All right.